Hey, awesome people. Welcome back. Mr. C here, and we are following up on fractions. This series is a super important series when it comes to your math learning, so thanks for tuning in with us today. Make sure if you learn anything new, click the like button and subscribe to Math with Mr. C as we continue our journey in making math understandable and challenging. So, today, this video is going to be our second video talking about generating simple equivalent fractions. All right. In the description below, you will see the link to the teaching of this standard. This video today is going to be us doing a couple of example problems. So if you need the teaching of it, look in the description below, check that out. Also in the description below, we have other third grade learning standards for fractions, what an equivalent fraction is, what a numerator is, a denominator is, what a fraction is. We talked about that for the second grade learning standards. So check out those videos in the description below. Today, like I said, we are focusing on generating simple equivalent fractions. We're going to be doing a couple of example problems using fraction bars, using pictures, visual models, things like that. So, with all that being said, make sure you have something to be able to work on. Let's get started. All right, here we go. Before we jump into this, make sure, like I always say, you have the correct mindset. Make sure that you are okay with challenging yourself. Be okay with making mistakes. Find your mistake, learn from that mistake, try another one. All right, mistakes are really important. That's what helps your brain grow. When you can make a mistake, find that mistake, and then fix it, you're right on your way to becoming a math guru. All right. So, got a couple problems. I'm going to be using a couple of strategies that I showed in our last video. This first problem, we're just going to be looking at some equivalent fractions. We're going to try to make some equivalent fractions using fraction bars. All right. So, the very first fraction I have here on the screen is the fraction 1/4. So go ahead and pause this video, set up 1/4 on this fraction bar, and then unpause it and start it with me. Hopefully you pause the video and you're joining me as I solve this first part. So I've got a fraction bar. I need to break it up into 4 equal pieces because that's what my denominator says. So 4 equal pieces. There's 2 pieces, 3 pieces, 4 pieces. That's pretty equal. It's not bad. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. My numerator tells me how many sections we actually have. The numerator says 1, so that's what I will color in 1 section. There we go. All right, this is what 1/4 looks like. I'm going to write that inside of it actually today. So this is what 1/4 looks like. Now let's see if we can make some equivalent fractions that'll equal 1/4. So let's say you have, let me change colors, let's go with a pink. Let's say you have 2/8. Okay, you've got 2/8. I want you to draw 2/8 on the screen here. All right, pause it, draw 2/8. Hopefully you pause the video. Now we're gonna do it together. So I need 8 equal sections. So there's 2 sections. Let me see if I can do this. Give me a second. This one's always a little tough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let me look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, that's not very bad. It's not bad at all. All right, so I've got 8 sections. How many of them do we have in our numerator? We've got 2, so we need to color in 2 sections. Here we go. Here's 1 section. Here's 2 sections. So notice those pieces are really small. Like these pieces have gotten really small, but this is 1/8. And this is 2/8. So if you look here, Each eighth is an eighth, obviously. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, 8/8. But take a look here. What do you notice about these two fractions? What do you notice about these two fractions? Are they equivalent? Are they equal? Yeah, they are. Notice 1/4 is a bigger piece, but when you have 2/8, you have the same exact amount as 1/4. I'm going to show you one last one here. Let's say you have, let's go with 2/3. Okay, pause the video, set up 2/3. Let's see if we have another equivalent fraction here. So hopefully you paused the video and tried that one. We've got 2/3, so I need to break this into thirds. Let's see if I can do that. There's a third. There's a third. It's too much. Let me try it again. Third. That's not bad. That's not bad. Draw this one right there. There we go. All right, so how many sections do I need to color in? Looks like our our numerator, that's what numbers on top, is 2. So let's color in 2 of these sections. Here's one section. Here's 2 sections. So take a look at this. Is this an equivalent fraction to 2/8 or 1/4? So is 2/3 an equivalent fraction to 2/8 and 1/4? Is it? No, it's not. You can tell that. You can see how big 2/3 is compared to 2/8 or 1/4. This here is not an equivalent fraction. And so what you can do is anytime you have 2 fractions or 3 fractions, draw a fraction bar, or in your classroom or at home, you may have fraction bars available. Grab a fraction bar, put them on top of each other like we're doing here, and you can compare them. Okay? Let me show you what I'm talking about. So here are those fraction bars I was telling you about. So notice in our problem that we just did, we had 1/4. Okay, we had 1/4. Here was 1/4. We had 2/8. Here is 2/8, and then we had 2/3. Notice these fraction bars, this is what you drew. All right, these fraction bars here, they help us see equivalent fractions. So anytime you're doing a problem, you're kind of stuck or anything like that, feel free to grab fraction bars. They are super helpful in helping you solve equivalent fraction problems. Okay, with that being said, I've got another example problem. This time we're going to be drawing a picture. All right, so in the last problem I gave you, we were using fraction bars, and I gave you the fraction 2/3, and I wanted to see if you could find if 2/3 was equivalent to these 2 other fractions, and it wasn't. So what I want to do is I want us to figure out what is an equivalent fraction for 2/3. What we need to do here is I went ahead and drew a rectangle on my screen. I'm going to be drawing in this rectangle 2/3, and I want you to do the same exact thing. So in your rectangle, pause the video here, draw 2/3 inside of this rectangle. So I'm going to draw 2/3. Again, you should have paused it and tried it out on your own. I'm going to draw 2/3 inside of this rectangle here. So there's a third. There's a third. That first one's too big. Let me try it again. Third. There we go. All right, what is my numerator? The numerator looks like it's 2, so we need to color in 2 of these sections. So 1, 2. Color these in. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. I missed a little section up here. You got it. All right, so I colored in 2 of those sections. So I've got 1/3 here, 2/3. Okay, both those pieces are 2/3. Now, let's see if we can figure out what an equivalent fraction is to this. Okay, let's see if we can figure out what an equivalent fraction would be to this. So, what you can do, and I showed you this in our previous video, what you need to do is, and you can do this on your picture up here, honestly, that would be like a really great way to kind of show it, but I want to show it here first just so you can see 2 different pictures. So what we did was we broke this up into 2/3. Let me color mine in real quick. All right, so we broke this up into 2/3. It looks like this. Now what you're going to do I don't like that. All right, what you're going to do is, do you notice how we broke this up vertically? And I explained this in my previous video. Hopefully you remember, the next thing you need to do is you need to break this picture in half horizontally. So break it in half horizontally. Go all the way across it from here to here in half, like that. Because what you've now done is you've taken your rectangle, and we broke it into 3 pieces originally. 1, 2, 3. Now what you've done is you've taken your rectangle and you've broken it into 6 pieces. Look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many of those pieces are purple? 1/6, 2/6. If I can write a 6, there we go. 3/6, 4/6. So if you look at this picture down here, what we have just done is we have created an equivalent fraction. 4/6 is equal to 2/3. This picture strategy is a great strategy to use. I love using this strategy. Let me show you one other example problem using this strategy, because I think it's really important to understand. All right, let's go with 1/2 this time. Same strategy we just used. I want you to go with 1/2. So I want you to set up your picture here. Okay, set it up on your picture, and then we're going to try it down here and see if we can come up with an equivalent fraction. So pause the video, try this one on your own. Hopefully you tried this on your own. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to break this in half because our denominator is 2. So let me do that. Boom, there we go. Our denominator is 2, our numerator is 1, so that's how many sections I need to color in. Let me color in this section. It's a big one. I'm still getting outside those lines. Thanks for being patient with me. I still need to work on my coloring a little bit, it looks like. All right, so here is 1/2. All right, would you agree that this here is 1/2? Okay. Now, let's say that we wanted to come up with an equivalent fraction for 1/2. What you could do is you could draw another picture down here and do the same exact thing. Or what you could do is you could draw on your picture up here. I'm going to show you what it would look like if I draw it on here. The first thing we did is we drew 1/2. Now what we're going to do is, remember, we're going to break that in half horizontally. Okay, we're going to break this in half horizontally. So all the way across it, we're going to break it in half. Now, how many sections do you see, y'all? How many sections are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many of them are green? 1 out of 4, 2 out of 4. Do you notice 1/2 is equal to 2/4? What you did was we showed 1/2 first on the screen. The first thing you did was you took your figure, you broke it in half, and then you colored it in half. Then you broke it in half again because we're trying to make equivalent fractions. You could keep doing this. And what I mean by that is you could break it in half here. Boom, there you go. That would give you 2/4. You could keep breaking it apart. You could break it in halves again. There you go. How many sections are there now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many are colored in green? 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice, you can keep doing this. I love this strategy because there's so many possibilities to solving equivalent fractions. Again, I mentioned this before. Drawing pictures, using your fingers, using manipulatives, that is okay. Use those in math. They help you understand it. If you can understand it, eventually you won't need them. But right now, draw pictures, do things like that. Rewatch this video, figure out how to do these types of things, because equivalent fractions is something you're going to be doing for a very, very long time. All right. If you learned anything at all in this video, make sure you click the like button. My contact information is at the end of the video. Feel free to reach out on Instagram, Twitter. My email is on there as well. Love hearing from people from all over the world learning new things and joining us as we continue to make math understandable and challenging. That's all I have for you today. Mr. C, out.